Crafters. In tonight's video, we're going to be making a Valentine's Latch Fun Fold. And we'll be using the Dance With Me photopolymer stamp set and the Heart Shapes photopolymer stamp sets and dies found in the Celebration brochure. And then we'll be using the Hugs for Love photopolymer stamp set found in the Mini CatLog. And for the background paper, we're going to be using the Bloom's Impressions found in the Celebration brochure. Let me tell you how Celebration works. There's two categories in this catalog. The first category is when you make a $60 purchase, you can select one of those items. And that's for each $60 you spend. And then the second category, it's $120 you have to spend. And it's for every $120 you spend, you'll earn something from that category. Or it could be two 60 categories. Hi, I'm Joan Heberlein, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, and I created this video for Joan Simple Papercrafts, found right here on YouTube. If you're new here, I want to thank you for stopping by. If you're a returning guest, welcome back. Be sure to subscribe by clicking the subscribe button below. That way you won't miss when I post a video, which is typically once a week. Now give me a few seconds to turn the camera down and we'll get started. Here's that latch fun fold we're going to be making tonight. Here's the latch here. I lowered my latch from what Bella had on her card. And this is the inside of the card. And we're going to use the Dance With Me from the Celebration brochure. Here's those people that are dancing, and this is what's inside the card as well. And then we have our heart-shaped stamp. It's also from the Celebration brochure. And we're going to use this stamp and this stamp on the inside of the card. And then we're going to use this die right here on the inside and on the outside of the card. We're going to put that up there. And then we have a sentiment right here we're going to use on the front of the card. I mentioned it's Celebration, and let me show you what we've got. It started January 7th through February 28th, so it's a couple days away yet. Just show you a couple pages here. Trying to find what we have here that we're using. How Celebration works, you get to pick a free item out of the catalog when you spend $60. Or you can pick a free item that's in the $120 category. These are all $60 categories right now. And this is the Dance With Me. We're going to use that today. And then we're going to use the Blooming Impressions Designer Series paper. So I got both of those for free when I made a purchase of $120. And then we got the heart-shaped bundle. This is one here. I think that's it. And here's Corner and Blooms, but we didn't use that one. The heart-shaped bundle is one of the where you have to purchase 120 to get these two for free. And let's see. And then one more. If you want to start your business with Stampin' Up, you would be able to get your starter kit for $125 for only $99. But then you'll also get these items for free. Or you could choose another $30 in free product. And this is going to run until the end of February. It all goes with this mini catalog. And I'm not going to go through this tonight. This one is in the mini catalog. And it comes with a punch you could get as a bundle. But I'm going to use a Blooming Impression out of the Designer Series paper. And this is a piece that I selected from the Blooming Impressions. And that is also in the Celebration brochure. Then we've got our cardstock that we're going to use. We're going to use SHY Shamrock in MELON MAMBA and Basic White. And we're going to start with the Basic White. Let me get this out of the way. So we're going to stamp this with our Memento ink. And I'm going to just get this all done up here. And as you notice, we had two of these, one on the front and one inside. So we need to stamp two of these. And since the stamping is very much the same, I just used a piece of scrap paper for the one that's on the front. I went ahead and colored it. All we need to do is cut that out. And then we need to color this as well. But before we do that, I'm going to stamp the next piece in here. And I'm going to bring this along with. So we want that to be about 1 inch from the top and the bottom there. So that'll tell us where our stamp can go here. And we're going to use our heart and stamp that right in the center. I'm going to close this up. We'll need that a little bit later, I'm thinking. So, and we're going to do it right about here. Sorry about my head getting in the way. Okay, and then we're going to take this and we're going to close this up because we do not need this anymore. Then we're going to use our MELON MAMBA for the center, and that's going to be for our sentiment. And I know I used the Memento ink on the first card, but I'm going to try it with the MELON MAMBA on this one. I think it might look a lot nicer, the bright pink. Sorry if my head's in the way. We've got our sentiment on the front here, so we're going to get this taken care of. So I already cut our piece here. This is 3/4 of an inch by 1 3/4 of an inch. And we're going to just set it down here and stamp that with our last stamp block. And I'm going to center that. Sorry about my head. And now I can close this up. One more thing to stamp. Sorry about that. We have our musical notes we want to have, so I'm going to stamp those up as long as we're here. I'm going to do it right here. Then I'm going to clean this, and I'm going to use our Stampin' Scrub to clean that. I'm going to spray it with our Stampin' Mist, and we're going to spray it on this side. There's a raindrop there, so that's how I know that's the side I want to spray. And I'm just going to close this for a second here. We're going to bring it right back in, because what we want to do is we want to just stamp that double musical note there. There. And now I'm going to just bring in our Stampin' Scrub again and clean all these off. I don't have a piece of paper to stamp these onto, which I normally like to do because that helps keep our Stampin' Scrub a lot cleaner. We don't have to run and clean it off so often. Got one more to do yet. Okay, we got that taken care of. So what we need to do next is cut this down. I'm going to bring in our glue gun here. This is from my Sweet Petunia. And I don't know if you have watched some of my other videos where I was struggling with this. What I found out was that this piece here, I hadn't cleaned it properly, and I pushed the cap on and I pushed it in. So then it wasn't closing it here and it was clogging. And then so I changed tips and I did the same thing, but it went all the way in. So that's when I noticed the problem. And I talked to my Sweet Petunia company, and they told me you just take a pin and clean this out before you go and put this in there. And then they sent an email with some other tips on how to keep this going. I didn't take a chance to look through that yet. I should probably, so I don't mess this up again. Okay, that is taken care of. What I wanted to do was to see what size this was. I have this cut at 3.5 inches by 3.25 inches. Let's see which one's which. This is a 3.5. So what I need to do is I need to score this. So I'm going to bring up my trimmer here. And we're going to score it at 2 3/4 inches. Or that's going to be 7 centimeters. And this is our scoring blade right here. We also have our trimmer blade. Let me bring that up here so you can see it. So the trimmer comes with the scoring blade and the trimmer blade on there. But I also add a third blade, which is just another trimming blade. But I mark glitter on there so that I use that when I'm using foil or glitter paper, and then it won't dull this one as quickly. And then it stays on the track there, so I push it all the way down so it's out of the way. And we have an arm on here that'll take us out as far as 17.25 inches or almost 44 centimeters. And then it folds back down. It has the imperial and then the metric system on there. I do like how the scoring blade works right on the same track as the trimmer. So we've got this piece of paper here. I said it was 3.5 inches by 3.25 inches. I have it at the long way this way. Here at the top, that's 3.5 inches. That's 8.9 centimeters by 8.3 centimeters. So we need to have that at 7 centimeters or 2 3/4 inches. And we're just going to score that. And then I'm just going to fold and burnish that. I like to burnish it on both sides. Then we can put our next piece of paper on here. And this is some of our designer series paper. That is cut at 3 inches by 2.5 inches or 7.6 centimeters by 6.4 centimeters. And we'll glue that down. Let me get my silicone mat here. And this will help keep our surface clean. If you get glue on here, you can wipe it off, or you can let it cool up and dry and then wipe it off. I usually let it dry. And we're going to put that on here. Let's see. This is how we want it to go. And we're going to leave 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides, and that'll be 0.3 centimeters. Oh, and it shifted on me, so let's see if I can't get it back here. Now I've got glue on my fingers. Put too much glue on there. That's one reason why I like the Sweet Petunia. You can really regulate how much glue you use. I just put too much on there. Haven't done any Stampin' Up since before Christmas, so I'm a little out of practice here. Okay, let me use my bone folder. There we go. Then we're going to take this and put it on here, and we'll glue it at our halfway point right there. So I'm going to just get our glue right here. And you want to make it 1 inch above it and 1 inch below. And that would be 2.5 centimeters. Just generally center it. So now that that's done, let's go ahead and color our little couple there. We're going to use our markers, Stampin' Right markers. I normally use the alcohol markers, but I'm going to try the Stampin' Right and see how I do there. So we're going to use the wide end of this tip here, and it is pecan pie is what we're using. And I'm going to go over this very quickly here. Then I'm going to flip it over to the tiny tip, and I'm going to give them curly hair actually. So I'm just kind of doing a little dotting, and it's going to make it darker. We'll do the same thing with the girl. And we're going to use our Lemon Lolly, only I'm going to start with the small tip here. Get down here. I'm just going to go around her face. Then I'm going to go to the wide tip and see how that works. And we don't need this right now. Trying to be aware of where my head is. I like to stick my head right in there and see what I'm doing. But then that blocks your view. So it's not a good thing to do. We are done with that tip. Then we'll do the arms and legs and facial features using the Petal Pink. And I'm just going to use the small tip right now just to get it up here where the hair and stuff is. And I'm going to do his ankles and ankles. And then we're going to go back to the broad tip. I probably could have did this without the pink on there, with the Melon Mamba on there. But I think we'll be okay. And I'm not going to do any shading with this. This is all going to be basically one shade when I'm doing a color here. So I do kind of go over it to smooth out any lines that are done with this marker. The alcohol marker, you don't usually have to do that because it just evaporates and it works a lot, I think, a lot nicer. So I'm going to go over his face because I went down and did that stroke on his nose, and I could still see that. Same thing with her. Okay. And we just need to do her legs. I think we're done with this as well. And then we're going to do her dress in Bubble Bath. So that's the lighter pink. We won't use the Melon Mamba. We've saved that for the front of the card. And I'm going to go around her arm with this small tip. And around her legs. We're just going to bring in the broad tip and see how well we can do with that. And with these markers, you want to lay it down as flat as you can so that you don't wear out the tip. So I'm trying to go flat there, but you don't want to also go over a different color. You got to be aware what you're laying flat on. Okay, let's see. I think that's good. And then we're going to go back to that tiny tip, do her shoes. I forgot to do the shoes when we had the other tip out there. And next we're going to do our SHY Shamrock. And we're going to do the small tip again. Call it a nub tip. I don't know if that's what it's supposed to be called, but that's what I usually call it. Alright, and all we need to do is his jeans now. I'm going to do his shoes first. I think I'm going to use a broad tip. Sometimes with that nub, it makes it a little darker than what I want it to be, so I wanted to have the shoes have a little less darkness to them. And now I'm sure I didn't want that pink thing on there, because if I make a mistake here, then I've lost that piece of paper. I should have did all that coloring before I did anything else on here. But there we go. So now this is how we're going to do that. And so we need our card base to do the rest. And let's do this, cut this out next. We're going to fussy cut this. So we want to leave about 1/16 of an inch for a border around the edge of this paper. And I'm going to move the paper and not the scissors to navigate around. And I want to let you know that this was a piece of 2 1/4 inches by 2 1/2 inches, or that's going to be 2 1/2 inches is 6.4 centimeters, and 2 1/4 is a little bit less than that. I'm sorry, I don't have 2 1/4 here. Then this is our next piece. Is we have a piece of 1 inch by 2 inch. And that's going to be 2.5 centimeters by 5.1 centimeters. And then we're going to glue this down on here. And bring in our silicone mat again. Got a new chair. I don't know if you can hear it. It squeaks when I move. The other chair had a really large squeak. This one has a rubbing type squeak. And then this one we're going to put dimensionals on the back of his head. So let's get that on there right away. So I don't want to glue that down. And we're going to use a large dimensionals. One on the back of each head here. And then what else do we need? We need our card base, which we don't have cut out yet. So we're going to take this piece of cardstock and we're going to cut it down. We need it to be 6 1/2 inches by 5 1/2 inches, or 16.5 centimeters by 14 centimeters. If we cut it at 6 1/2 centimeters this way, let me get this open. That's 6 1/2 centimeters, and then we need it by 5 1/2 centimeters. Now the 5 1/2, and we have enough for another card here, so we can use that later. So 5 1/2 centimeter is our typical height of our card, and then we made it 6 1/2. We're going to score it at 4 1/4 inches. Move this out of the way. And we'll fold and burnish this. Okay, we have one more thing we have to do here. We need to cut our piece of SHY Shamrock and glue that down in here. And we can glue all that into here. So let's do that before we get too far along with our card base. I'm going to bring in our mini cut and emboss machine. We're going to use this sandwich here that's printed on the #1 base. we need a number 1 base and 2 number 2s. Well, this has been used very well, so you don't see the 2s anymore, but it'll work. Trust me, that is a 2. And we need to cut 2 of these. And then we're just going to run that through. And we need to run it through again, so let me see if I can't get that out of there. And then we'll use our take your pick tool to poke that out. I love this tool. It helps a lot when you're trying to get the paper out of these pieces here. These delicate pieces, you can't really get it out any other way. So we're going to put some glue on the back side of this, and we're going to cover the entire piece because we're going to add it to this. And this is good for doing these fine things. I want to get it started here. And then I'm just going to go dot, 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 dot. You really don't want much more than a dot there, because you'll see some of it is going to seep out. Trying to make sure that that's on that little rubber stopper down there that plugs that up. And let's bring this in. And I'm going to just lay it right down on the line. So then you'll only see some of that printing coming through. And I'm going to go back and do my bone folder on this, because I don't remember if I did that. And we're going to do our glue onto this. And then that should be 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. And that's going to be 0.3 centimeters. And I'm going to use my bone folder on the back side. See if I can't get the rest of that glue bubbles out of there. Okay. We need another piece of our designer series paper, and this is cut at 2 inches by 5 1/4 inches, or 5.1 centimeters by 13.3 centimeters. And we're just going to put a little bit of glue on there, and we'll put it on that panel. It doesn't have anything on it. Centering it, leaving about 1/8 of an inch for a border on all 4 sides. 4.3 centimeters. I'm going to close this because if you do it this way, it's going to work a lot easier. Because you want this to match those edges there. So if I was off a little bit, putting that center piece in, this would align it up, and you wouldn't be able to notice it then as well. I think I'm going to do this one next. So we need to put some mini dimensionals on the side and on the bottom of this. So we'll do it here and here, and then on the bottom. those 3 there. And just take your pick tool, take the paper backings off, and it wrangles them all on that pick. And then you can just toss them in the garbage. Then we're going to put this on here. So this is our latch. How the latch works, it just lifts it up and tucks it right back in there. Tucking it back in is a little more difficult. We want to open it up and then tuck it in. So let's get this up here. So we want to glue this down at the bottom and leave those upright. Yeah, leave those up for right now, because we're going to put that on next. We're going to do these. Then we want to put this on here. And I believe we want to do it this way. And I cut between his legs, which this one I don't think I did. That's okay. We can still put the glue down on that. So I'm going to put glue on this bottom corner. And I see what I did wrong already. I put the dimensionals on the head, and I want them to be heart to be on the head. And the dimensionals between there. So that pulled off okay. And I can put it right down on our silicone mat. And this one doesn't want to pull off. So we would just want to glue that to his head. Right here. Just going to put glue on that part of the wreath there. And then let it fall in place. And then we can put these back on here. Okay, and we'll get our, take your pick tool. And we've got some glue there. I'm going to see if I can't use our adhesive eraser to pick that up. Here, that's not sticky anymore, so we've got that. I think we're done. Let's take a look. Oh, I like this in the red. What do you think? I hope you had as much fun working on this project as I did. As you can see, this Latch Fun Fold would work with just about any sentiment stamp set. Why don't you give it a try? Now, if you've enjoyed today's video, would you do me 2 favors? Click the thumbs up emoji, which means you like it, and would you share it on social media with your crafting friends and pin it to Pinterest? These actions will help me to keep sharing my ideas with other crafters for free, and I'd really appreciate that. Be sure to hit the subscribe button below so you won't miss any future videos. If you have any questions, be sure to contact me. I'm here to help in any way that I can, and if you don't have a Stampin' Up! Demonstrator, I'd love to be your demonstrator. Just reach out to me. If you'd like to place a Stampin' Up! Order or would like a catalog, hop over to my website where you'll find the Shop Now button. To shop with me, you'll need to go to joanheberlein.stampinup.net. Mark your calendars. I'll be back next Sunday, January 12th at 7 p.m. Central Time, and we'll be making a pop-out gatefold card using the Darling Dinos. I hope you'll be here to join me. Thanks so much for being here with me tonight. I look forward to next time. Bye for now, and don't forget to subscribe.